Ready? Hi friends, and welcome back. And today we have something special for y'all.
That's right. I put it on my story and people voted, and people want to hear our engagement story. And so we are doing a nighttime story time.
Yep. With our PJs and our hot chocolate.
Yep.
Where to start?
I don't know. Probably right at the beginning.
Yeah. I'll start with the start of my day. So at the time, I was working at EG's, and I'd had a coworker who had had a rough day, who usually doesn't have rough days. And it kind of was like, oh, the happy guy isn't happy, and so everybody was kind of like having a rough day because of it. Unfortunately, I was not exempt. I was having a rough day, and especially because me and this coworker, we spend an hour or so before anybody else in the store together, just us. And we talked. He even approached me later and said that being able to talk to me helped him. So it was good we talked, but it was also like heavy. So I had talked to Katie's mom a couple weeks in advance, and I had talked about December 5th. But we came up with something else being December 2nd because they were going to go out of town to surprise Katie. Maybe we'll get a Kiki shot. Yay! Anyways, so we had decided on December 2nd, me and Katie's mom. And the thing was that because that morning was so rough, I had alluded to the fact that I was going to propose that day to Katie. I had sent her a text saying, hey, I'm not doing too hot. Maybe we could do, this picnic date on a different day so we could, we can do it better. But she had been saying that she still wanted to do the date even if I was in a bad mood, because it would maybe help cheer me up.
Okay, so the significance about picnic dates is that the first date we ever went on was a picnic at Purple Heart Park.
Yep, because she had been telling me how she had never had a PB&J. And so I made PB&Js, and then I had the little mandarin orange cups. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. P&G image right here. And I brought PB&Js, the orange cups, and Sprite. And that was the first date we had.
It wasn't that I never had PB&Js.
Yeah.
Just not often. That's a whole different thing.
But so my plan had been picnic at Purple Heart with PB&Js and orange cups and Capri Suns this time. Because at this point I had learned that Katie doesn't like soda. I did not know that on our first date.
It's true.
Because I'm like an addict.
I drink it anyways.
Yep.
That's true love right there.
Yep. But so we got to the picnic, or we got to Purple Heart, and it was dark and it was cold.
It was December 2nd.
Yeah. And because I had already been in a bad mood, being cold and it being dark already was starting to make things worse.
Yes. Long story short, we had an argument, but I don't really remember. I don't really remember what it was about now.
I vaguely remember it being about the fact that you knew I was going to propose, and then I had gotten your hopes up for it because you thought I was still going to anyways. But
yes, he had had the ring for months at this point, guys. Months.
Yeah.
Literally months.
And the reason behind this is because I had the ring, and I had the original plan of proposing with all of our family and friends there, making it kind of a big, not public affair, but more people. And I planned on doing it around Thanksgiving or on Thanksgiving. And because I had had the ring at that point for, I want to say just under a month, Katie had started to guess when I was going to propose. And she had guessed it right twice. And so I would push it further back so that way she wouldn't, guess when it was.
Yeah, I'm bad at surprises.
Yeah.
I'm good at giving surprises, not accepting them.
Yeah.
I'm not good at being surprised.
But
So we went back. Let's see, we got in the car and I was at this point crying because I was upset, and I think you were getting ready to cry, or you were crying.
because I had just been so burnt.
And we were driving back to your parents' house, but then I said we should go and get McDonald's hot chocolate.
Yeah, you had said we could still turn the night around.
Yes. This is whenever we have a bad day, it's just a bad moment, it's not a bad day.
Exactly.
I mean, there could be some pretty bad moments in a day, which can definitely bring the overall day down, but, I mean, it's one moment and then another, it's not continuous. You can definitely turn a bad day around, even if it means you just go and you curl up in bed and watch YouTube.
Yep. As just married life advice, we've learned that you can have bad moments without having a bad day. But back to before we were married.
So we drove to McDonald's where we got hot chocolate. And at this point, we were both starting to calm down because we had to talk to other people and be, presentable. And we drove back to his parents' house where we went into the backyard. And we got out these lawn chairs and we sat down. And actually, let's see.
I stalled going outside so I could sneak to my room and grab the ring box.
Yeah. Who was there? Let's see. It was Peter, his girlfriend Elizabeth, and your dad were in the living room because they were watching, I think, a Hallmark movie.
Yeah.
For
and
Christmas.
then my mom was in her bedroom.
Yeah.
Watching YouTube.
We went outside and we sat down and we were talking, we were kind of like turning our night around. We probably, I don't remember. I think we had a little bit of a conversation about the argument a little bit, but we weren't still arguing. We were kind of getting over it.
Yeah.
Wrapping that up.
Yep.
And then, what happened? How did this go down? Because I was sitting like here and you were sitting here.
Yeah.
But you would have been sitting a little farther away from me. More at a diagonal.
Yeah.
And let's see, the grass, so the rest of the backyard, we were facing the house and the rest of the backyard was behind us. And this is kind of important because he was facing the rest of the backyard. I'll add a photo here that I'll have Peter send me.
Yep. So you guys can see, but I was facing towards our back wall, which had a wash and more houses behind it.
Yeah, so there's a wash. If you're not from Tucson, that's where it would be a river, but because we're in the desert, there's no water out there. So
it's for flash floods.
Yeah, so it's a dry river, and then there are more houses behind that.
And that's the important part, is because the house directly across from us, as we're finally calming down, I see a shoe fly and smack the roof of the house across the street.
Didn't it land on top? I thought it landed on the roof.
No, because remember, it banged. It banged
You're
really
right.
loud, yeah.
Okay, so at this point, he has a smile, and he's starting to get down on one knee, right? And let's see. No. Wait. No, because we walked back to the back wall first.
Yes.
Never mind. I'll let him tell the story.
So the shoe flies, hits the roof. I start laughing, and she's like, "What's so funny?" And I said, "Here, come on." I said, "I just watched the neighbor across the street or across the wash throw the shoe at their roof." And so we watched them throw another shoe at their roof and bang and hit the roof. And then I don't know what we were thinking, but we were like, "Oh, we want to see what they're doing." And so we walked over to the wall and we were peeking over the wall.
Side note, I almost fell into the rose bush doing this.
So, and then suddenly from across the street, we hear because the neighbor has taken their rake on the roof and is starting to
No.
scrape the roof. Yeah.
No, we had gone and sat back down first. Because we went back and we sat down, and that started happening while you were on your knee. Because you were trying to... What happened was, this is how I remember it.
Okay.
I remember we had walked back and sat down, and you had gotten down on one knee, and you were smiling, and you had the little pink box, right? Which is mine, because I keep my diamond earrings in there. But I let him borrow it for the ring. And he was down on one knee, and he's like smiling, like, you know, like the romantic smile. And I'm getting all warm and fuzzy feeling. And then suddenly he's like looking at me, and then he like leans to one side and is like looking past me. Because I guess what he was seeing was the neighbor holding this rake up and like walking around, holding it up. And he's like trying to like pull himself together and be romantic and talk to me. But instead...
We had the part where we fell away from the wall though because we got scared.
Yeah, well, that already happened.
But
I think we just got sketched out by the wash.
maybe. I'm 90% sure that he started raking the roof and then we went and sat down and then he started raking the roof again.
No,
Because he raked the roof a couple times.
Oh, we sat down. You had the ring out. You were smiling, you know, in the little pink box that I let you borrow. And we had our hot chocolate, and I remember I took a sip of it, right? And as I took a sip of it, from behind, like from the people who are trying to get the shoe off the roof, and you know, like scraping, you know, there's a loud crash. And suddenly the back door of this house opens, and the lady who lives in this house comes out and starts yelling at whoever is in her backyard to get out of her backyard. Right? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
And so I had just taken a sip when this happened, and I ended up spitting it like just started laughing so hard that I could not swallow the hot chocolate in my mouth, and I spat it just everywhere. Like, it hurt. I got teary-eyed because my body had just spewed it everywhere. It was kind of impressive. It got pretty far. And that's while he had the ring. And so, again, you need to show them what you were seeing. You need to stand up and do the...
Well, the guy was just back there with the rake and just on the roof, and I'm like,
this is all he's trying to you don't understand. This is something people think about their whole lives, waiting for this to happen. You know, like, I don't know, when I was a kid, I imagined something really romantic, you know, flowers, you know. And instead, what happened was this guy in this lady's backyard with a rake, like,
raking the roof
while she's yelling at him, while my soulmate's trying to propose to me. And what did you say? He said like the normal, like, I love you, will you marry me? Through laughing, like you couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah. Not to mention I put the ring on her before I asked.
Yeah.
Like, I put the ring on and she was like, are you gonna ask? And I was like, no, I don't think so.
And then he asked, right? And I kind of like laughed and I was nodding because we're still listening to the lady yelling.
Yeah.
And we went inside and, you know.
They're all watching TV, so we were like, oh, let's go tell Mom.
Yeah.
And so we like walked through, went over to my mom and was like, hey, I did it. And we were like, yay.
Turns out his dad was waiting for us to update it on Facebook. I remember because he was like, I've been checking Facebook all night.
It's true, I forgot that.
And then I'll add a clip in here of that night to what I sent to Natalie with it. So you can see like exactly like right after it happened. So he's down on one knee, and as he's proposing, in the background we're hearing this guy with this rake on his roof trying to get whatever is on the roof down. And so we're laughing. Sorry. And I have my hot chocolate with me. And in the middle of all this, while he's on one knee, he didn't have the ring out yet, but he was on one knee. I took a sip of hot chocolate, and right then there's like this loud like crash noise, people talking from like across the wash. And I think that's what made me start laughing. I don't remember what made me laugh so hard. Sorry. Oh, sorry. So I ended up spitting hot chocolate like everywhere because my body wouldn't let me swallow it. And so, yeah, in the middle of being proposed to, I cough hot chocolate everywhere. And he pulls the ring out. So he gets the ring out of the little box. And he was like, no, why don't you open it? Because I'd asked, because he'd been keeping it in like a little black bag inside it because I kept trying to see the ring. He's like, well, why don't you open it and find out? And I was like, no, because then it's going to be in your pocket. And he was like, well, I'm a little bit more traditional than that. And so he opened it up, and there was the ring. And so he put it on my finger. I was like, are you going to ask me? And he was like, no. I'm like, no, I already know the answer. And I was like, well, you should probably ask anyways. I'm sorry. Bless you. And so he put it on my finger, and he asked officially. And I said, yeah. And then while this was all going on, the guy is still in his backyard. And so this whole time we're just laughing about this guy. Wait, do that again.
Huh?
Do that again.
Do what again? The guy?
Yeah.
The guy with the ring? That's exactly what it sounded like.
That's what he was seeing.
That's what I was seeing.
So he was facing him, and I was facing away from this other house, but that's what he was seeing in the background while he was proposing to me. And so, yeah.
It was far better than
And we came inside, and we didn't tell his parents or his brother for a little bit because we were just laughing too hard. Like, we had to take a minute to, like, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we went over to my parents' house, where we took a bunch of photos, and what else?
What was it?
That was kind of it. That was our proposal. Yeah. Listening to the lady yell at this guy in her backyard. And I spat hot chocolate all over everything, except for you. I think I did.
No, you got it all over my pants.
I got it all over his pants.
Yep. Because I had been wearing a pair of nice blue jeans, and then before we left to go to her parents, I changed.
But not quite the romantic proposal he'd been planning.
No. But
it's very us, and I'm very happy, and it makes me smile every time I think about it. And I wonder what that guy was doing in that lady's backyard.
Trying to get something off the roof. We have no idea what it was.
I thought it was his other shoe.
Maybe.
I just want to know what got up there in the first place and why. I think it was his shoe. I want to know why his shoe was up there.
That's true.
Not that you guys will ever know where his
Come up with your craziest theory in the comments.
If you happen to know Hans and you live behind him, tell us what happened. Lived.
The D.
Behind his parents. But
yep.
That is our proposal story.
Yep. Wild. It starts kind of bumpy, but
yeah. I just think it's funny that like 30 minutes before he proposed to me, we had an argument. Go figure.
Yeah.
I think it was really one of our first arguments too.
Yeah.
We didn't really have a lot of arguments. We still really don't. When stress is high, things can get kind of hard because of the interpersonal gap. Hello college. But we're pretty happy. I think we're a very happy couple. But is that all we have to say?
Yeah.
That's all we have to say.
Thanks for joining us. I hope you had a cup of hot chocolate as well.
That is our funny, symbolic proposal story.
Yep. Thanks for joining us. Till next time.
See you in 2 weeks. Doodles.
Our engagement story is probably one of the strangest you'll ever hear.
I'm gonna call it strange. rain.
Well, I mean,
It's
we're
not
strange people, so it's.
We're not.